Alright, some of this is just fit and finish. 3 holes, 3 screws. 3 holes, 3 screws. 3 holes, 3 screws. 3 holes, 1. Should hold it. Sorry, I completely forgot to make my point. They were there. There's a hole that had a screw go through it. There's a hole that had a screw go through it there. These screws were there. I don't think they would have vibrated out. Who knows? Again, quality control. Flush, flush. Now it's flush. So this is the window just outside of the main door, and there was caulking in there at one time. See if you can see the area in between that. Not so much. So the issue with that is there also used to be caulking right there in that crack. Now again, this is not a 10-year-old unit, not a 5-year-old unit, not a 5-month-old unit. I just purchased this a week ago. So when you run the AC, naturally it's going to find the low point and it's going to run there. This weekend we happened to have it parked, and the low point would have been all the way up at the front, that direction. Problem was, it was hitting this gutter. Normally where I've had it parked before, it goes to the back corner. We had a little low in the front because of the spot, so it found this gutter, which has a leak there, which then runs down here and disappears into there. Nothing below this. So I can only assume that this window and whatever's behind it, which is this kitchen wall, is taking on water somewhere. Another thing I've got to fix. All right, so it's starting to get dark, so some of this stuff's hard to see, but this is the slide out. So my dad's my son says, "Dad, there's something hanging under the camper," and so this is what I find. This is a trim piece. Not sure if that's supposed to be secured or how it's supposed to be secured, but that thing, as soon as you let the side out, slides down and goes to the ground. So when you go to put the slide in back in, you have to make sure somebody's holding that. You may have to put a little RTV in there or something to hold it tight. Alright, I know this one's super picky, but when you go to put the decals on and you take your measurements from here to here, erase your pencil lines. Seriously. This has popped off a couple of times. Now granted, it's been my wife and my kids to knock it off, but can we not find a better way? And besides, I'll show you, let me pick that back up. So the way this fits, there's this little tiny notch out here that this fits into. And I'll show you. If you put this cap on and you make this tight, it doesn't quite make it there. So what you have to do is you have to slide the trim piece over. Slide the trim on there. Let's see if I can show you movement. You get about ½ inch of travel in there, so that puts this edge just underneath there. And so when the curtain gets on there and it's holding tension on it, my boys go to unclip it, pop, off she comes. All right, next problem I encountered. The first morning that I got in the shower, drain is here. Very creaky, sounded like cracking, as in breaking. Couple of things. This liner, of course it does not show very well on camera, has a nice little wave to it. Not every screw is put in, not every screw is capped. You know, again, nitpicking. I can fix that stuff. But should I have to? No. So anyway, I figured out what is going on the shower. And this one's probably going to be a little hard to show you. That's what the underneath of the shower looks like. As you can see, there's a support. So I can hold the light there. There's support back there. There's a support way back there in that corner. Look to either side here. There's a support nearly the middle of the shower. If not, let me show you what we got going on there. Here. Ooh, I'm blocking my light. That's the notch out for the wood. Now this is foam. This is just foam. That's wood. Let me get a measurement on that. I'll tell you how far back that is. Alright, a little better explanation of what we got going on here. So here is the perimeter of the shower, which is here. Here's the drain. Drain stands off about 4 inches and complete. It's about a 2-inch drain, but it's about 3 inches with these little flanges. So we're going to call it that. So instead of just cutting out a notch to this area, the plywood, which I believe to be 3/8 plywood, is cut back 13.5 inches, nearly half the distance of the shower, and it's 8.5 inches wide for a 3-inch drain. There is a support here which stands off at about 1.25 inches. There's a support here which stands off at about 2 inches, and then there's a support here which is the closest to the middle of this, and that's why this drops off and rocks. And it is 8 inches off of the back. I do have a support in this corner, which is right behind here, but in this corner, nothing. Absolutely no support. So when you stand on any of the areas of the shower, between like the middle to the drain, it flexes and bows and cracks. And what that is this is plywood that is unsupported. And it dips here, it dips here, it dips here, here. The only place it does not dip is here, 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 and here. So if you take a shower within this third of the shower and this eighth of the shower, and definitely not in any of the area listed here, which is the largest portion of the shower, you've got something to stand on. Now, I'm 6 foot, 200 pounds. You would think it would be able to support me. It seems like a common weight for most Americans. So anyway, I was going to take it apart, take this whole panel out, and figure out how I can get more support in there, maybe even rebuild that board, which is not going to be too terribly hard, seeing as how most of the staples in this camper are really not even in anything. Again, how about a little pride in your craftsmanship there? All right, so I think I've kind of figured out what's going on here. This is my $19 pointer here. This screw here, or nail, or whatever it is, goes in at an angle that way. This one is way over from what I can see. Oops, I'm gonna put the camera on there. So what it does, I know this was hard to see on the camera earlier when I was showing you the shower. I don't know if you can see the wall. It has like this huge belly right here. Hang on. There you go. We use the sink cover as a straight edge. So flush on this end, and so if we were to push that in, it would be level, but I don't know, 2 inches, 3 inches belly, maybe. So if you go end to end on that, you can kind of see the belly there. Which what that does is that makes this top pop out, which has some sort of adhesive. You can push it on there and it will stay momentarily, and then it pops out a little bit later. So again, another issue I've got to address. I want to see if I can show you the floor flex here. A little bit of cracking goes on under there. It's because right here is the only place. Sorry, let's see if I can shoot this better. Right there's the support. There's nothing. There's nothing up here to support this. This is just the plastic that's there.